Oh, my soul, worship his holy name. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul. Hallelujah. Good morning. I've been a little busy lately, so that's why I haven't gotten on as much as I usually get on. And then plus, I still have them shadow ban and all the other things. That's how you know when you're speaking truth. When you speaking truth about people that's connected to different people and cartels and Masons and Eastern Stars, some of my family members. I began to do more of my research on the Eastern Stars and the Masons and the gangs, the different gangs and stuff, that he's connected himself with. I'm talking about Donald Godfrey Meeks Senior out of Jetersville, Virginia. And then I'm talking about my Nettie Holmes out of Oakdale, Louisiana. Yes, I'm putting where y'all live at and everything. You know why? Because when they get ready, it is what it is. Want to sue me? Do so. I'm not worried about that because I got receipts, baby. I got receipts. So you know what? This is the thing about what people don't understand. Is that when you belong to God, you have to speak up when God tells you to speak up. I was meditating. I got to, how God dropped downloads and tell me different things when I meditate, And I just watch how, people be, and God put people around you to judge them. And this is the thing that they don't understand. Because they so, they have a pea brain. But, they think they smart, but, they actually dumb. Dumb as a boob. So I just watched them over the years, running around, every opportunity, we would come home and how that, she would try to find any way she can so she could sleep with him, right? And to me, that's a low life. That's a person, you enter into your, not, this is why I was telling y'all, not just my marriage. I have other sister married. She slept with their husband as well. She's going to try to lie. That's why what they do, people around you, they'll try to talk about you to those people. So when you bring out the truth, those people be hesitant to believe the truth because they have lied so much. But one of the things I learned when it comes to God, you don't have to justify yourself. And see, people think, I remember when I named Hillary Clinton, that when she was in office, she destroyed all these evidence, right? But she thought she did. But it's always called the cloud, digital footprints. And a lot of people are so ignorant, they don't understand digital footprint. That, just like they become thinking about like the burner phone. They'll get the phone, burner phone, different phones and stuff. Like these phones can't be tracked. They can track everything. No matter, I don't care if you do get on different sites and take your phone number off, take all that stuff off, it's still there. And this is the thing a lot of people don't understand. It's still there, regardless whether you take it off or not. But this is the reason I want to make it very clear that she was involved as well. Not just the other people, people in Virginia, people all over, United States, all over the world, that these Masons and Eastern Stars, they all, I'm sorry, I had to stop. I had the little stranger, I whoop him. They all connected. These people connected. And, and I know that they'll get fake profiles and watch my videos. So they can watch my videos, so they can run and go tell this, run and go tell that. And then plus on top of that, I don't care what they talk about me. You know why? Because I know whatever they come out their mouth is a lie. So it doesn't bother me. And this is what people understand. And I remember my mom said, she said, as long as somebody said, people say something, let them say something. When it's a lie don't stand, but truth does. And you got to let truth have its course. You got to let them build up their lives. Just build it up, build it up, build it up. And then what God come do and expose it. I'm going to tell you, this is what people don't understand. When you go to people for years and years and lying, constantly lying and lying, you don't have to defend yourself. You have to wait till God say, okay, now it's time for you to say something. What you're doing, you're explaining what you've been through with other people that's supposed to love you, that's supposed to be there for you, then you watch them as they, pull away, and then God begin to let you hear them say certain things, and that let you know that the snake, that snake, that two-faced snake that be up in your face and then behind your back saying something else. You let them run their course. But then when you look at their life, they'll get in front of other people like they got this best life. Like Donald, he was sleeping with he had a hoe, a stripper hoe. I don't know if he's still with the hoe, but she actually a hoe. He just changed in a wife for a hoe. That's what he running behind my back with whores. He didn't never get anybody decent. He always got whores. They always say men when they cheat, they run with whores. My sister's a hoe. She always been a hoe. Hey, how you doing today? I hope you're having a great day. I was talking about what I've been through, and then I want to help other people. This is why I talk about everything. Y'all come in. It's 18 of y'all in here. Like the video and subscribe to my video because, like I was saying, I want to try to do something real special by the time the end of the year. But by then, somebody else going to end up running my platform because I won't have time to run it. But I will come in from time to time, speak. But I will be speaking. But I'm going to be sharing some very important information about the Masons, the Eastern Stars, the Sword, the different groups, Freck houses and all that. I'm going to be talking about all that stuff. These are covenants. And a lot of people don't understand on the college level, these are definitely covenants. And these people actually go from place to place. They sleep around with each other. They marry. Some of these majority of them are married people, and they sleep around with other people, husband and wives. They have what they call swinger parties and stuff like that. But well, God told me not to show my face. I can't show my face until God tell me to, because I've been gang stalked, harassed. I had Donald tried to kill me. Him and other, like along with my sister Nettie, they was planning, making plans. But God gonna expose all that. No, God already have exposed it because, receipts are in. This is what people don't understand. Receipts are everything. When you're talking, you have to wait until everything come to a full head. And I want y'all to know that they do shadow ban my video. This is why people come on, you'll see people leave. People come on, people leave because they want to stop people from listening. They don't want people to hear my voice. They don't want people to hear the truth about the Masons, the Eastern Star, the cartels. We have cartels all over the United States. Joe Biden let a lot of them in because he was benefiting from them. Different ones. Kamala Harris. These people benefits from the cartel. Spanberger. All of them people that when you see a flex of illegal migrants, these are the governors that back, the cartels. And y'all got to watch this because it's true. Like in Minnesota. Look at how things went in Minnesota. Billions of dollars wasted because you don't give Somalians nothing. Somalians are ignorant people. They are thieves. They're pirates. And a lot of people don't understand that. When you speak up against certain nationalities, it's because you know what kind of people they are. And they're not for the U.S. citizens. We're just the United States. We got to learn. We got to take care of people in our state, in our countries. Not keep trying to take care of everybody else's country. These people, those presidents is responsible for their own people and their own company, not the United States. And we got to pull back and let these people be responsible. And stop stealing money, putting it in our pocket, then pretending like we send it everywhere else. But Minnesota is a good example. Y'all need to see the story about Minnesota. How these people robbed the U.S. out of all that money and didn't do anything for nobody. This is selfish people. I'm talking about Donald because I want to, reason I'm talking about Donald is because I was supposed to put his picture up this morning. I'm going to probably put it up later. Because I got some things I need to do. I've been kind of like not getting on as much because I know they shadow banning, which is okay. Who is that? When you say who is that, you talking about on the picture or you talking about Donald? Listen, I try to respond to y'all because I think it's important to respond, not just talk all the time, but then try to listen in to hear what y'all say. I get out here talk because see, they do what they call love bombing. He's a narcissist. My sister's a narcissist. And I know other people that's narcissists, around in my family. What they did too, they stole money from me and they stole property. They stole a lot of things and they lied and said I was dead. They used fake marriage certificates. People running around like they me, charging up stuff, using my identification. Now Donald Godfrey Meeks Sr. out of Jetersville, Virginia, he's the one that could get hold of all my personal information. So any of my personal information got out there, he the one put it out there. And I want to make that clear. Donald Godfrey Meeks Sr. out of Jetersville, Virginia, 23611 Holly Farms Road in Jetersville, Virginia. And then my sister Nettie Holmes, she live in Oakdale, Louisiana. So, I'm putting them out there because, see, I don't have time to play with the devil. And then, other trash, some like Maria Perez or something like that, out of Virginia. That's one of his whores he deal with. They have poly relationship. Pulled me in that mess. I told him I didn't sign up for that. I signed up for having a husband, not a hoe. So, and I told him, I'm not going to play those games. I don't play that. I don't get with corrupt people. I'm not a person of corruption. My sister Nettie, her son in jail right now in prison for life. But she's got nerve enough to be trying to work with Donald, which is supposed to be my husband. He doing fake marriages and all kind of stuff. I ain't got no divorce, so where the paperwork? I ain't seen no paperwork. They got all these scams going. They have these staging scams. She get paid for that too. Who in the, and then you wonder why your child in prison. But you not even an example to your own children. I had two sons. Yeah, two sons that went to jail for selling drugs. Now, I've never sold drugs, but my brothers sold drugs before. And they was end up in jail, but not for selling drugs. But they was drug dealers. I've never been a drug dealer. Never. So, and then found out my husband. I don't want to associate myself with that. Call himself selling drugs, human trafficking, child trafficking. They got children basements right now that they transport them other places. They got near the shipyard in the containers and stuff. He's involved in all this stuff. He connected himself to this trash, and he know I don't like this kind of stuff. This is stuff I talk about all the time on my Facebook page or on my YouTube now. I do not like child trafficking. I don't like children. I don't like all Masons are not the same. You have different people. People wicked as hell, and then they try to blackmail people. See, this is the thing what people don't understand. They blackmail you to get you to do what they want you to do. You end up out there, okay, for instance, like my sister, she'll put stuff in me and drink or something they eat off. She'll do witchcraft on them to get, to sleep with them. That's what she did. In order to sleep with her own, wait, y'all, listen to this. Her blood sister, she will sleep with their husband or their boyfriend. Some of them don't want, some of them rejected her and asked to tell, got far away from her because they know she was a hoe, because they was a hoe. So they know a hoe. So she, got up in Donald's ear telling Donald all kind of lies about me, and he believed it. But you know what? I see it like this here. If you quick to believe a hoe and they're a hoe, you a hoe too. That's all I see it like that, y'all. It is what it is. So, the point is this here. He was going around talking about me, saying all this stuff. I was sleeping around. I was on drugs. I was on alcohol, and I'm like, when this was coming to me, I'm like, what the heck he get that from? Then he was at this lady house, an older lady. I guess she's old. I don't know how she look old. And telling her, oh, I got to go get her medicine. I don't even take medicine. Oh, she in the hospital. I was in the hospital. That nigga did not come visit me one day, but the other elderly guy that wasn't too long ago died. He visited him every time he's in the hospital. See what I mean when I say two-faced? I think I was in the hospital for about 3 or 4 days. My blood pressure was up. Found out why my blood pressure was up. And then the thing is that they were trying to get blood from me so they could do this DNA mess. They were doing all kind of testing on me. I didn't get nobody permission. Just like he was going around trying to say I was crazy. So when he was going around saying I was crazy, what he was doing, trying to work paperwork up to try to put me in an institution. But he was trying to give me stuff in my food and my drink. What kind of lunatic is that? Now, see, he want to play crazy, but this is all premeditated. This is what I said, tell people when people say I'm insane or I'm this. But if you premeditated something, that's not being insane. You planned that. You strategize that. You know, what kind of lunatic sister, so-called sister, would try to kill them? Because you know what? They into killing people. They are into killing people for money, for life insurance money. This is why a lot of cases, a lot of people's bodies going to be pulled up. Because of these people right here that have poisoned people. They found a way to get poisoned or found a way through witchcraft to murder people. But see, let me tell you something. I promise you one thing. This witchcraft murdering people, that's coming to an end. Reason I say that coming to an end, because these people that's working witchcraft to kill people, they going to prison. If God don't kill them, they going to prison. People gonna die, I'm telling y'all. These ones that's connected, call themselves messing with me, that's when they had their problem. Because see, people think people mirror people. You know, certain people have certain assignments on this earth. You know, just like when you say, let's see, the Kennedys or Martin Luther King, you know, different people that Malcolm X, everybody had a certain assignment. You know, Abraham Lincoln, all these different people have assignments. So you have to let people fulfill their assignment on this earth. Just like each one of y'all that come on here. Y'all have assignment on earth. It may not be, no, it's not going to be necessarily my assignment. But you have your own specific assignment. But you got these Masons and Eastern Stars and different ones that think cartel, they think they so smart, they ignorant. They believe that if they kill a person, they can take that person's destiny. This is how delusional they are. You can't take a person's destiny. What you doing, you making your life worse than what it is. And what it's going to end up being, because what's going to happen, if I don't want to say luck. I hear a lot of people say karma. The karma that was in that person's life, you call yourself transferring your karma. Now you're going to pay for people trying to stay young. Y'all finna see some people get ugly. When I say ugly, y'all finna see the real people, who they are. A lot of these people like Dawn and my sister, the person that was there not there no more, because they sold their soul to the devil. So they got these different demons working in them. Like she worked witchcraft. Got other sisters work witchcraft. Worked with Nettie. That works with Nettie. Over a lie, she conquered up a lie, sent out a text message, right? To some of my family members trying to say I said they was cursed. That was a text message I sent to her. But see, they were so ignorant, they didn't read the whole message. So she called herself trying to get them all on her side. But what she doesn't know, all that's going to turn back on her. Because when all this information come out about her and some of the rest of them, people going to be, it's going to be embarrassing. And I can't wait, you have to let everything, this is one of the things I learned with God. You have to let everything, sometimes we get frustrated, which is okay. That's why I'll tell people, it's okay to be frustrated. When it take a while. But see, God got to gather all the information. He put people in place, where they had lawyers and judges and DAs and all these people in place, right? Because see, she used to work for the child services, where they get the checks and stuff. And see, she knew different people in the in the court system. See, people manipulate stuff, but see, all that all that stuff that they done finna come down, they lie and deceitful. I just watch, and then I watch the child, and I'm like, oh my God. I remember watching the little boy when he was smaller. I was on the at the table one day, and I had a drink, so I left and went to the bathroom, come back, the little boy had stole my drink and drank it up and put it back on the table. And I was like, oh my God, this little boy gonna be a thief. And I saw that, and I was like, oh my God. He was little, and he was doing that. And I was like, and I thought about it, I said, well, if he like that now, I just bomb my daddy like that. Lying, little, deceiving little thief, right? Then as things come around, as we were coming up, we was always getting in trouble because of her. She would always get mess started. This was her, lie. All of a lie. She's a liar. And see, the ones that been around by younger sisters and stuff, they don't know how she is. But the ones that were around her knew how she was, and she's grown and she's still like that deceitful. And it's funny because I laugh, but see, this is the thing people don't realize. When you sleep with somebody like that and they use witchcraft to get you, guess what? That witchcraft not always gonna stay on that person because God gonna break that witchcraft off them. That person gonna see how nasty and wicked you really are. And both of them wicked, regardless. Both of them wicked. Both of them just stole their soul to the devil, so that don't matter to me. It is what it is. You know? So what I do, I'm just telling my story. I'm just telling you all. These people, y'all have to be careful. Because these people, they are, get in relationships, fly places to meet men and stuff like that. Have sex. She's 66 years old, y'all. 66 years old and still out here selling herself. It's sad. And this what they do. They sell their body, sell their private parts. Get them blow jobs or whatever they want. That's what she give. That's what she do with her sister's husbands. One of them knew, babe, let me tell you something. One of them knew that she slept with her husband, sleeping in her master bedroom with her husband. In her bed, baby. In her bed. In her bed. In the sister bed with her husband. Not boyfriend, her husband. So, it's sad when people don't have no boundaries. You just... But see, people like that, what it is, they don't really have no sound relationship. So they have to hide out in somebody else's relationship, try to destroy somebody else's family and marriage because theirs destroyed. And they jealous, be jealous of their sisters because they ain't nothing, they ain't nothing. A person that's got any value, they would never do stuff like that. But being my face, I knew about it. I just, what, I know what truth is. And I know one thing, that I don't have to go lower my standards, to feel good about myself, by sleeping with my sister's husbands or boyfriends. That's a sick head. That's a sick person, and I always see them demons, and I just, I say things to her, but I knew she wasn't going to change because she had them demons. She go work witchcraft out of water and all kind of water spirits or some kind of mess. But they ain't got no power. They think they do. They thought they had me. God already had me. And God, see, this is what people understand. They play these games like they know God. They saying, this is what they do. They act like they go to church and they these good moral citizens. And they trash. They're literally trash. These judges, mayors, governors, former presidents, they fool with children. They are child predators. And the part about it, you don't have to worry about it because now, when God said enough is enough, enough is enough. And when he say exposure is here, it's here. They are pretending, doing all this witchcraft, doing all what I'm wasting time doing what for what? It's over. The game is over. High money, all kind of stuff. I remember we went on a cruise last year, May, April, one of the months. And she bought these $6,000, $7,000 earrings. And she was like boasting like her earrings. I didn't care. Y'all, I don't care about stuff like that. Or like went to the store, bought $100-some pair of jeans. I don't care about that. I can get some jeans from Lowe's, not Lowe's, Ross, or with that other one. I can go to Marshall and those places right there and find me some $12 or $13 jeans. They the same jeans. Like they got something special. But I'm not about all that showing off. I'm not that person. And I'm not trying to be that person. I don't care how wealthy I am. That's not going to make me run and go, yes, certain things I want, those certain things I want, but still I want to be in place to help other people. I listen to what people say. And I listen to the selfishness all the time. I'm just listening. Oh, I'm going to travel, and I'm like, oh my God. Because I knew she was gone then. Really gone. I just pay attention, to people, what they say, what they do. I pay attention to people's action. And then I can sense people, evil spirits around people. And I can see them. So they call themselves working witchcraft against me where I can see and all this other stuff. But I still saw them. I just, act like I was, I did just like they did. They want to play dumb. I was playing dumb too. You got to beat the devil at their own little game. And that's what happened. They thought they were smart. But this is the thing about it. You got to let them set themselves up. You gotta say, just say it just enough. Make them think this or make them think that, but yet you're doing something else in the middle of all that. But I just want to let them know. I do know they got fake profiles. That they listen in on my videos, and they act like they're not listening. Look at my posts, act like they're not gonna come with the original because they fake. This is what fake people do. Fake people hide behind other people's pictures. And I'm not worried about whatever they do. The fraud, the scams, all that stuff. I'm not worried about that because you think they're using different things. That's why I said I put my son Chancey Cash up there because she has his Cash App card. But she's not going to set my son up for nothing because she's the one doing it. So this is why I make these videos. This is why I make those posts on Facebook because, no, my child not going down for a hoe. That hoe going down for herself. And I make that clear. I don't care how many people they try to turn against me. I don't care. It doesn't matter because when God put me in my mother's womb, I was in there by myself besides God. So I'm here. Doesn't matter. I don't have to have a crowd of people around me. I'm not those type of people that, trying to impress other people when my heart is dirty. This is the thing about people don't have to realize. It's not about the outer appearance. It's about what's on the inside of you. This is why I always tell y'all over again, love yourself. When you love yourself, you don't go out here looking for validation from other people. Got to have attention from other people. I don't have to have attention from like I told y'all before, I got sisters right now, that have boyfriends but married. I never communicate with their husband. I like one of my sisters. I'm not gonna call her name on here, but her husband, when I speak to him, I speak to him through her phone. She'll be on speakerphone. That's when I speak to him. Because I respect her union. I respect her husband. I respect their boyfriends. Because those are my sisters. And I, respect them as my sisters. I don't go sleep with their husband. I don't go work witchcraft on their husbands, And one of my sisters she hang with, but she don't know she done slept with her husband too. So, it's funny, but, they up there working witchcraft together, but she done slept with your husband, baby. She done slept with your husband, too. She worked witchcraft on the men to sleep with them. They don't want her. Nobody, look, she is 66 years old. I ain't had a solid relationship. He was cheating. She was cheating, too. Because I would say something, but I ain't going to say something now, about Chris. The one in prison, the truck driver. That's what I'm saying. Something I'm talking about the man. Like the man was so bad, she was doing the same thing. That's why I was laughing. I said to myself, this girl crazy as hell. She think I believe what she said. But see, we got to tell the whole truth. We can't tell part of the truth. The same people I can listen to her say things and God would say, no, she talking about herself. Oh, Beulah this and Beulah that, Beulah this, Beulah that, Beulah. Everything she was saying about Beulah, what she was doing it. Same way with Donald was talking about other people. Oh, I remember this guy named Brian. Something was going on with him and his wife. I don't remember what happened, but they ended up divorced. And he was talking all that junk, but see, he was doing the same thing, and I just watched. Over the years, I just watched. I observed, because this is, you learn when you observe. You don't always have to, voice or say nothing. You just pay attention. Every once in a while, God let you drop a little seed. Hey, I ain't this, going on, then try to blame everything going on, try to blame you for it. Everything has to blame you for it. They play the blame and they play victim, and they not no victim, they liars. And I would say that over and over again. They try to get on Facebook, tell people, family members, whispering and all this other stuff. Okay, if that person was all that bad, why was you around them? Same way with Donna, same way with Nettie. But see, they wanted to spy so she could run and tell him, they talking and stuff. I don't care what a Donald called me. It didn't never bother me because he didn't call me. Because every phone call he made outside of me, guess what? They gonna be judged. So it don't make no difference. People think they getting away with stuff. You gave away nothing. Let me tell you something. One thing about the judgment of God, baby, that's more harsh. Oh, I'm just gonna leave here and everything gonna be fine. Let me tell you something. Hell is real. When I say everybody got their own personal hell, that's how I call that. And a person that insert themselves in other people's relationship, y'all, is a sick person. And they're going around like they doing something. It's sick as hell. And I mean, he does the same thing. Both of them do the same thing. Get up in other people's relationship because they don't know who they are, because they are two lunatics. They don't have no value. People with no value, they do stuff like that. But when you know who you are, you don't do that. You have your own personal relationship. You don't worry about what other people. You ain't trying to insert yourself in somebody else's relationship, or you ain't trying to sneak around and travel with somebody else's husband or some stuff like that. You know. But me myself, I really don't care. But I'm talking about it because this is my life. This is what I've been through, and to make her think or he think that they have gotten away with everything. God just let everything tally up. Then after tally up, then you can look in your life. You know what you're doing. You know what you did wrong. Even people sacrifice their own children for their own selves. And then try to blame everybody else. But I saw the blaming game. Because I saw it through Donna, then I saw it through her, and I'm like, oh, they attached some kind of way. And then God, well, I'll tell you, I already knew they were attached because God showed me exactly when they got themselves tangled in. And then I noticed she tried to follow us everywhere we go. She would follow. She'd follow. I was laughing. I said to myself, they thought I was stupid. That's why I just laugh at them like I care. I don't care. Who cares? I don't suck dick. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not into that. I don't want nobody that's everywhere putting their thing in everything but mouth and everything. You know. He look, it was funny because he told her she don't know. Well, she know I know because I done said something about it. He gonna ask her about doing a threesome. Her now check this. He gonna do a threesome with her and another man. And she in her mind, oh, Joe don't know Donna want me. Girl, please. Every hole he could put his dingo in, and it butt he could put it in. That's what he do. Like you got something special. I was thinking y'all forget. Like you got something special. You so dumb, girl. You dumb. See, that's how demented her mind is. A man respect you. A man tell you he don't respect you, gonna ask you about being with you and another man. That's sick right there. I don't want to be no man, no another man. What the hell? He see you as trash. That's what he see you as trash. Trash beget trash. All right. Well, listen, y'all. I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. I'm not gonna talk too long, but y'all come back and like my video and enjoy your day. Okay.